What's up, viewers, subscribers, and agents alike? This your boy Enlightened Luciferian Prince coming at y'all once again with another upload. Now, this right here is a video that I think has to be expounded upon because, for lack of better usage of the term, I think that most people misinterpret what the maxims of law are. Now, although that most people may say, because particularly, I call myself Lord Enlightened Luciferian Prince, yada, 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 they may have their little hang-ups about the name. First and foremost, Luciferianism is not about associating with darkness according to my way of life, my doctrine. It's about bearing light, which means truth, which means also to expound upon the things that otherwise the so-called people that you may have been misinformed and disinformed about, call themselves the illuminated ones, are not what you think they are. So, without further ado, let us demystify that. Secondly, everything that I'm going to talk about comes from a purely biblical standpoint. Now, again, I look at the history of the Bible as far as being historically as incorrect as it has been depicted, as falsified as it has been. It is also the history of those people who are melanated. We already know that. And if you don't, have a seat, class is in session. But I look at it from a very historical standpoint to expound upon how we got the basis of the law and how these so-called people who call themselves Jews and are not have deceived your reality into making you believe something that is real that isn't. So, let us talk about it. Let us expound upon it. Anyone wants to know anything further about this, please contact me via email. We'll talk. Serious inquiries only. Maxims of law. There are 10 essential maxims or precepts in commercial law. Number 1, workman is worthy of his hire. The first of these is expressed in Exodus 20, chapter 20, verse 15, Leviticus chapter 19, verse 13, Matthew chapter 10, verse 10, Luke 10, verse 7. 2 Timothy 2 and 6. Legal maxim. It is against equity for freemen not to have the free disposal of their own property. It's self-explanatory. We don't have to expound upon that. Just like when people contact me via consultation. Hey, what you expect? Self-explanatory. We don't need to talk about it. Second, the second maximum is equality before the law, or more precisely, all are equal under the law. The Creator's law, not man's, because we already know where that goes. We'll touch that basis sometime down the line. Creator's law, moral and natural law. Exodus chapter 21, verses 23 to 25. Leviticus chapter 24, verse 17 to 21. Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 17. Chapter 19, verse 21. Book of Matthew chapter 22, verse 36 to 40. Luke chapter 10, verse 17. Colossians chapter 3, verse 25. No one is above the law. Now, this is the Creator's law. This is not man's law, because, they circumvent their own system daily. So we're not talking about man's law. We're talking about the Creator's law. Now, this is founded on both natural and moral law and is binding on everyone. For someone to say or act as though he is above the law is insane. We talk about the Creator's law, not man's. This is the major insanity in the world today. Man continues to live, act, believe, and form systems, organizations, governments, laws, and processes which presume to be able to supersede or abrogate natural or moral law. But under commercial law, natural and moral law are binding on everyone, and no one can escape it. Commerce, by the law of nations, ought to be common and not be converted into a monopoly in the private gain of a few. Number 3. This is one of the most conforming and comforting maxims one could ever have in your foundation for your peace of mind and your security and your capacity to win in triumph, to get your remedy. In business, in commerce, truth is sovereign. Exodus chapter 20, verse 16, Psalms 117, verse 2, John chapter 8, verse 32, 2 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 8. Truth is sovereign. And the sovereign tells only the truth. Your word is your bond. If truth were not sovereign in commerce, an example, all human action and interrelations, there would be no basis for anything. No basis for law and order, no basis for accountability. There would be no standards, no capacity to resolve anything. It will only mean that anything goes, each man for himself, and nothing matters. That's worse than the law of the jungle. Commerce, to lie is to go against the mind. Oriental proverb of all that is good. Sublimity is supreme. Number 4, truth is expressed in the form of an affidavit. Book of Leviticus 5, verse 4 through 5. Leviticus chapter 6, verse 3 through 5. Leviticus 19, verses 1 through 13. Numbers chapter 30, second verse. Matthew chapter 5, verse 33. James chapter 5, verse 12. An affidavit is your solemn expression of your truth. In commerce, an affidavit must be accompanied and must underlay and form the foundation for any commercial transaction whatsoever. There can be no valid commercial transaction without someone putting their neck on the line and stated, this is true, correct, and complete, and not meant to mislead. When you issue an affidavit, it is a two-edged sword. It cuts both ways. Someone has to take responsibility for saying that it is a real situation. It can be called a true bill, as they say in the grand jury. When you issue an affidavit in commerce, you get the power of an affidavit. You also incur the liability because this has to be a situation where other people might be adversely affected by it. Things change by an affidavit in which are going to affect people's lives. If what you say in your affidavit is in fact not true, then those who are adversely affected can come back at you with justifiable recourse because you lied. You have told a lie as if it were the truth. People depend on your affidavit and then they have lost because you lied. So, before I proceed, let me expound upon that point and that point primarily. You have to understand that in order for you to compose an affidavit, if in any sense in these processes, for whatsoever reason, you must tell the truth. Don't lie to manipulate the proceeding as you go forth according to something that you wish to happen to somebody else just to be spiteful. No, as a sovereign, you must tell the truth. You must be truthful, period. Under no circumstances should you ever shirk the truth. Never. Now, we know we live in a world of deception where everything appears to be true, but that's not sovereign. That's inferior. It's not superiority, according to the sovereign complex. But then again, because most people have been duped and have believed that the lie is the truth and the truth is the lie, and that light is dark and dark is light, in this reality, yeah. You know, those people who watch this channel, those few of those people who actually have those ill intents, whatever, you know, it's not going to work for you. You're going to fail. But those of us who come to a conscientiousness that know that we're against a beast system that does nothing but lie, we have only one recourse: to tell the fucking truth. If they're doing fraud, call them on it, whether they like it or not. Whether they sit here and try to make it seem as if what you're saying is not true, that's when you're going against a lie. Keep telling the truth, period. Who gives a fuck whether they like it or not? It doesn't matter. We don't care according to your desire. If you don't like the truth, so what? So be it. You know what I'm saying? And I say this for the simple reason is because most of the time people get flustered. They get confused. You know what I'm saying? They get confused in these processes. Most of the time, the people who are telling you a lie are people who look just like you. And vice versa. You know? We live in this reality today where these people turn around and they want to make everything seem like it's so divisive. The only thing that divides human nature is lies versus truth. Not color, not status, not class, not some fucking paperwork. It's the lies versus the truth. So, if you're going to come to this reality, you better learn how to start doing it. If you don't, stay your bitch ass in the shadows, period. Don't come to the surface, because there's nothing done in the dark that will not come to the light. So you might as well just go ahead and just tell the truth off the muscle. Anywho, on to the next one. Number 5, an unrebutted affidavit stands as truth in commerce. Claims made in the affidavit, if not rebutted, emerge as the truth of the matter. Legal maxim: he who does deny admits. Remember that. Number 6, an unrebutted affidavit becomes the judgment in commerce. Hebrews chapter 6, verse 16 to 17. There's nothing left to resolve. Any proceeding in a court, tribunal, or arbitration forum consists of a contest or duel. of a commercial affidavit, wherein the points remaining unrebutted in the end stand as truth in matters to which the judgment of the law is applied. Whether or not they like it, tell the fucking truth. Number 7, in commerce, for any matter to be resolved must be expressed. Hebrews chapter 4, verse 16. Philippians chapter 4, verse 6. Ephesians chapter 6, 19 to 21. No one is a mind reader. You have put your position out there. You have to state what the issue is to have someone to talk about it and resolve. Legal maxim: he who fails to assert his rights has none. So, with that being said, people, it is what it is. This is just the way it works. I'm just being blunt. Probably the only channel on YouTube that's just coming out with you like this, because unfortunately, most people don't believe what I say. I don't give a fuck whether you believe it or not. I've been doing this for years, and I've also been keeping myself out of commercial drama by limiting my debts in my so-called existence here on earth commercially. I have none, and not to mention those legal instances that applied yesteryear. Oh yeah, they know what I'm saying is true too. They're probably watching this channel, but I don't give a fuck. How you doing? But it all boils down to this. This is the primary fact. You lose in court because you don't provide anything to the contrary to say that the opposite side has actually done something wrong. No, you just go in there and you acquiesce. You go in there and you believe that what they're saying is right because they use the environment of fear and intimidation to make you succumb to their legal system. That's why it's called law enforcement, because they have to use force in order for it to work. They know it wouldn't work any other way. That's a primary fact. Number 8. The primary users of commercial law, and those who best understand and codify in the Western civilization, are the so-called Jews. This is Mosaic law they had for more than 3,500 years past, which is based upon Babylonian commerce. This one is, he who leaves the battlefield first loses by default. Book of Job, Matt 10:22, chapter 10, verse 22. This means that an affidavit, which is unrebutted, point for point, stands as truth in commerce, because it hasn't ever been rebutted and has left the battlefield. Government allegedly exists to resolve disputes, conflicts, and truth. Government allegedly exists to be substitutes for the dueling field and the battlefield for so disputes. Conflicts of affidavits of truth are resolved peaceably, reasonably, instead of by violence. Remember that before they try to paint me to be some type of extremist. Reasonably instead of violence. So, miss me with that. So people can take their disputes into court and have them all opened up and resolved instead of going out and marching 10 paces and turning to kill or injure. Legal maxim: he who does not repel a wrong when he can occasions it. When he can occasions it. Number 8. Sacrifice is the measure of credibility. No willingness to sacrifice equals no liability, responsibility, authority, or measure of conviction. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. A person must put himself on the line to assume a position, take a stand as it regards to the matter at hand, and one cannot realize the potential gain without also exposing himself to the potential of loss. One who is not damaged, put at risk, or willing to swear an oath on his commercial liability to claim authority. Acts chapter 7, life versus death of Stephen. Check it out. For the truth of his statements and legitimacy of his actions has no basis to assert claims and charges and forfeits all credibility and rights. Legal maxim: he who bears the burden ought also to not derive the benefit. Number 9. Satisfaction of a lien. In commerce, a lien or claim can be satisfied in any one of the 3 ways: Genesis chapter 2 and 3, Matthew chapter 4, and the entire book of Revelation. By someone rebutting your affidavit with another affidavit of his own, point by point, unless the matter is resolved as those who is correct. In case of non-resolution, you convene a sheriff's common law jury based on the 7th Amendment concerning a dispute involving a claim of more than $20. Or you can use 3 disinterested parties to make a judgment. The only other way to satisfy a lien is to pay it. And now, the person who sits in the shadows and sits in the comment section has something to say about forfeiture. First off, in other words, if you have a lien on your property, pay your fucking bill. Other than that, you have to stand in a commercial capacity to have had that issue not even come up in your personal existence, because that's the reason why you face your situation. Stop trying to find a way out. Start looking for the way in. So, legal maxim. If the plaintiff does not prove his case, the defendant is absolved. And this is the reason why, most of the time, especially melanated people who wander the realms of the world we call the globe, lose in court so drastically. Very few actually do get themselves out of their situation because they prove their case by what I'm saying. I've done it. So there's nothing a motherfucker on YouTube can tell me. I've done it. So there's nothing you can tell me. I know. Them folks are trying to stick 20 years down my throat, and I'm free. So we ain't going to talk about it. That was back in 2011. Self-defense case. You know how it goes. It is what it is. If it happens again, it'll be some more self-defense. But I told the truth. I didn't lie. I didn't hire a lawyer. I didn't go out there trying to, navigate their little commercial waters. No, I stood by the ground of the truth. You violate me, you get fucked up. That's what goes on. Period. So they try to make it seem like I was wrong. I'm not wrong for defending what I was put here to live, which is life. If you offend me, you better believe your life is in danger. That's just the truth. No one can tell you that you can't be defensive. The system is not going to defend you. And I tell people all the time, cops come after shit happens. They don't come when shit is occurring, they come after. So that means you have to defend your fucking self. How could that ever be wrong? And yet and still, I sit on the street. So obviously what I'm saying is very true. No charges, no nothing, no probation from the case, no nothing. Just wiped it off. Here's what it is. They were just trying to gain some type of monetary benefit from the case. But me, I'm the type of person, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? Life is more important than money. Money ain't shit. That's just the ends to a mean. But when it comes down to life, you can't replace that. Serious. You want to replace the lost 20? Go to the ATMs, you got it. But you can't replace a life. So remember what I'm saying is true. It's very true. Number 10, last but not least. So the 10th maxim of law is a lien or claim can be satisfied only through rebuttal by affidavit, point by point, resolution by jury, or payment. So when anyone tells you that you cannot come out of a foreclosure situation, they're full of shit and they probably work for some type of mortgage agency and they're going to try to make sure that they keep themselves employed. Yes, they watch these channels because they try to make sure that they can get the remedy to try to counteract. But guess what? Truth is sovereign. There's nothing they can do as a dispute to come against you for doing what you should be doing, which is basically telling the fucking truth. Not about the dispute about the amount, just the resolution. That's all you should worry about. Commercial law is non-judicial. So, anyone that wants to tell you that foreclosure laws are governed by state law is a liar. And they either work for the government or they either work for a third party who works and coincides with banking agencies. So, comment section, I know who you are and I'm watching it very closely because you're a liar and I'm telling the truth. So yeah, you're going to get mad. This is prejudicial, not prejudice. This is timeless. This is the base, the foundation beneath which any government or any of their court systems can possibly either exist or function. That means what the courts are doing and what the governments are ultimately adjudicating and making rules about are these basic rules of commercial law. Basic. When you go into court and place your hand on the Bible and say, I swear the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, you have just sworn a commercial affidavit. You just learned a very significant truth in less than 20 minutes. It's the conflict between commercial affidavits and truth that gives the court something to talk about. That forms the entire basis of its action and its being there in their venue. Hence, one of the reasons attorneys always create controversy. Because lawyers, if you're watching, you are a liar. Look at the root word of lawyer in the English dictionary. Challenge anybody on this. Challenge anybody. I've seen $1,000 cash. You prove me wrong. Look up the root word of lawyer. You'll see it says lie. Facts. So go hire one if you want to, people. They're paid liars. And not to mention, they work for the system, as I often told you in the previous video. It's the conflict between commercial affidavits and truth that give the court something to talk about. That forms the entire basis of the action and its being there in their venue. Hence, one of the reasons attorneys always create controversy, as I said before. No court and no judge can overturn or disregard or abrogate somebody's affidavit of truth. The only one who has any capacity or right or responsibility or knowledge to rebut your affidavit of truth is the one who is adversely affected by it. It is his or her job, his or her right, the responsibility to speak for his or herself. To issue his own affidavit because no one can speak for it, or his or her, or speak for it for him or her. No one else can know what your truth is or has the free will responsibility to state it. That is your job. It's what it is, people. They mad because I already know it's a lot of people watch my channel. They pretend that they're subscribers, but yeah, they come because the algorithms so move them according to the desire in which they use, because it adversely affects their business. Yes, people, you're dealing with a bunch of motherfucking lying people, and it's your responsibility to tell the truth. See, my channel is not for kids, so I can say whatever the fuck I feel, but I'm not monetized either. But at the same token, it is what it is. These people particularly spend their day craftily manipulating a way to beat you out of your existence and your property. That's a fact. Now, any one of them wants to make up any story they want, so be it. I don't give a fuck. But it's the truth. They do this particularly with the intent to deprive you of your existence. Whether it's your monetary sense, whether it's your physical existence, as far as your housing, whatever case it be, as far as your children, everything. These bitches are out of their mind. They've made up basic law upon the context of what? A fucking lie. People, this has been happening for centuries. And unfortunately, until people start to come forward to the light and the truth, not the lie, they're going to keep facing these same problems. It is what it is. If that's the existence you wish to have, then please cut these videos off, delete them, don't share them on social media, go your own fucking direction. If you want to be a deceiver, bye. Go join their force, you know? Go yearn for what they yearn for. But if you come to this side, you better believe that you're going to get one thing. It's a hardcore truth. Whether you like it or not. Agents, I don't care if you like it or not. I don't give a fuck. Informing people is not illegal as you want to make it. I have no affiliations, you know. I don't partner with no groups. I don't do any of those things that they would commonly associate me with no. Don't work like that. I work on the side of the creator. That's the truth. Period. That's the only one entity that I can rely upon that has always been faithful. All the motherfucking associations, frauds, liars, deceivers, and Judas is always in the midst of every last one of them because they poisoned them with the ideology to betray everyone in the group. So fuck that. No, I don't join no group. I roll solo dolo. Period. You know? That's it. That's how it rolls. And I also stick with the side of the truth. As long as I keep telling the truth, I ain't got to worry about nothing. Now, if I was sitting here on YouTube lying, it'd be a different story. But no, I tell the truth. And that's all I'm ever going to do. Because that's what I signed up for. When I first came on my first video in August of 2017, yeah, I signed up for the truth. Period. That's it. And most of these other channels people go to, bunch of fucking frauds. Bunch of fakers. Bunch of shysters. You know what I'm saying? Bunch of motherfuckers who just out here for your dime. For what? Not giving you real insight, not really even giving you the real truth. No, they're selling you an opinion. That's what you did. You got sold an opinion. Me, everybody that contact me, no. You get the hardware. You get the hardware. Period. Contact me via email. We'll talk about it later. But other than that, they know. I give freedom because it was freely given to me. So why the fuck am I going to sit here and charge you $6,000 for something that was freely given to me? Get right. The fuck out of here. The fuck out of here. If you do pay me, motherfucker, you're going to pay me for my motherfucking time. I tell you that much. Off the muscle. Period. That means I got to set out an increment of time and space to give you proper understanding. Yeah, time is money. And the workman is worthy of his wages, so I ain't trying to hit shit you talking about. Whether you have a qualm about it or not, I don't care. On my channel, I'm real. Dead real. Dead serious. I don't play around with people. You know what I'm saying? I've been doing this for years. And since I've come into contact with so many other, hundreds, if not maybe thousands of people, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of them ain't proved to be right. So my horns is up. Fuck it. You know? A lot of people, they have this false sense of allegiance. But you know what? They're still tainted by the beast system. So I have to be aware. I had to be cautious. Keep myself safe. You know what I'm saying? Keep myself safe. Keep you safe, really. From, you know what I'm saying? From me fucking you up. I had to keep you safe. You know what I'm saying? So It's called social distancing. Been practicing for quite a long time. And when it boils down to it, I say these things on this channel because I know for a fact that time is of the essence. Whether the time is of the essence to you, that all depends on where your mentality is, where you're at. It don't depend. I've been ready. You know what I'm saying? I've been ready. You know, I keep my shit ready all the time. You know what I'm saying? This is my Bible, loaded, nothing but dots, ready to slang that shit in them people's face. I don't just come on these channels and make some shit up. Nah, I've been doing this. You know what I'm saying? So, serious ones, inquire. And then, agents, don't contact me because I will not respond. You already know I've been doing this for years and I don't fuck with y'all. Period. I already know where they are. Trust me. I know who they are. I know what they are. Because my creator gave me discernment to figure it out. You know? Hey, if you go through enough shit in life, you'll know who's who. Y'all take care. Peace. Stay tuned. The next one is going to be a groundbreaker. And agents, fuck you, man.